When Kurt died, I was lost. I was numb. The music that I had devoted my life to had now betrayed me. I had no voice. I turned off the radio. I put away my drums. I couldn't bear to hear someone else's voice singing about pain or joy. It just hurt too much. But eventually, that feeling that I had Independence Day, July 4th, 1983, at the base of the Lincoln Memorial Steps, that feeling came back. The same feeling that made me feel possessed and empowered and inspired and enraged and so in love with life, and so in love with music that it had the power to incite a riot, an emotion, or start a revolution. I felt it again. I found a studio down the street. I booked 6 days, loaded all my shit into the car, bought some good, strong fucking coffee, and I got back to work. 14 songs in 5 days with 1 day to mix. I played every instrument, running from the drums to the guitar to the coffee maker, to the bass, to the vocal mic, to the coffee maker, back to the drums, back to the coffee maker. Here I was again, left to my own devices, with no one to tell me right or wrong. The same one-man band 20 years ago, 20 years later, multi-tracking all on my own. Though long gone were the 2 cassette recorders and songs about my dog, my bike, and my dad. I was singing songs about starting over. Maybe a few about my dad. I dubbed 100 cassettes. I gave it the name Foo Fighters so that people would imagine it was a group rather than just one strung-out coffee junkie scrambling from instrument to instrument. I gave them to friends. I gave them to relatives. I gave them to people at fucking gas stations. I was starting over. It wasn't long before I got the call. An A&R guy. The tape was getting around. Those 6 days that I spent alone in the studio that I considered to be a demo, I considered an experiment. I considered it fucking therapy. They thought it was a record. I didn't even have a band. I called my brilliant friend and lawyer, Jill Berliner, for advice. You know what she told me? The musician comes first. I started my own label, Roswell Records. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. You are staring at the president of a record company. After all that had happened, deep down, I was still the same kid that at 13 years old realized I could start my own band, I could write my own song, I could record my own record, I could start my own label, I could release my own record, I could book my own shows, I could write and publish my own fanzine, I could silk screen my own shirts, I could do all of this myself. And it may have been an entirely different world now, but once again, there was no right or wrong because it was all mine.